Good afternoon or good day, wherever you are. Welcome to Moose Jaw This Week. I'm your host, Lyle Johnson. Today we're going to talk to Moose Jaw Citizen of the Year for 2020. That's John Iatridis, who, of course, is the owner of the Mad Greek restaurant in town, but also quite an involved participant in our community. And, of course, that's the reason he was chosen to be Citizen of the Year. So, John, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Lyle. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I was just, I looked at the things that you have been acknowledged for, and you started off your whole description of how you're so happy to and proud to be chosen, based on your family's connection with our community. Do you want to just relive that part for us?
Yeah, I mean, my father, my mother, my aunts and uncles all immigrated here from Greece, and so we learned at a young age, and we were just very close with our family. My cousins, I know a lot of people are, but we literally, our cousins were our best friends, and we just spent a lot of time in the restaurants and around Moose Jaw, and yeah, we were just let known how lucky we were to be brought up where we were and how we were after what our parents had gone through growing up, I guess.
Yeah. Were you part of the Greek house on First Avenue and Caribou Street?
On no, that's on Hochelaga and First Street.
Hochelaga, sorry, yeah.
You know what? No, my mom and dad and my brother were. I wasn't around yet, and they were a part of it, and they bought their first house on Main Street. But yeah, at one point there was, I want to say, 4 families in that house. So
It's a huge place, and
yeah,
certainly across the street from a ball diamond where you guys could go play football.
yeah,
And and of course those Greek national days like football and hockey. You're right. The Greek family was a big part of our community, and they came here not necessarily as restaurateurs, but when it came to Moose Jaw, they got into restaurant business and were very, very successful. Rodos, Nick's, your place, the Mad Greek, all connected together.
yeah. Originally, it was the Ambassador,
Oh,
and
yeah.
my father had first come to BC. My uncles were in Regina, and they basically got together. They had an opportunity at a restaurant, so they came together. My dad and my uncle Jim, my uncle Chris, my uncle George. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody now.
Nick
My
in there
uncle
somewhere.
Nick came later. He wasn't
Yeah.
here yet. Yeah, and they started the Ambassador in 1963. So that was their introduction to the restaurants, I guess.
Yeah. Well, no, and you said from the very beginning they were very happy to be Canadians, very proud to be Canadians, and they felt it was very important to them to be involved and support the community wherever they lived. But also, they were important. They were proud to be Canadians.
Absolutely. They, I mean, proud Greeks, but they, my dad always said to me, we'd be driving and he'd make comments about, how beautiful Greece was weather-wise, and he, just the country. They're obviously very proud to be from there, but after some of the hardships they went through there, and coming to Canada and the opportunity they were given in Canada, they were very thankful for it, and they just loved it. They just, I mean, it's what I think as Canadians, most of us are proud of, so yeah. Being able to do what we do.
And do what you do. You were quite surprised when you found you were nominated.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. I was happy to be nominated. That was great. It's a good feeling, obviously, but even more if you can say there's a winner, you know what I mean? Even more so surprised at that, just because the people I was on there with were all pretty great people. So.
Well, yeah, there was Ashley Armstrong, Marla Woods, Joe Aspen Williams, and Nick Hennick were all nominated as well as you.
Right.
The ceremony's a little different than normal because this year they couldn't have the luncheon thing and all that kind of stuff as they have had in the past, but certainly well deserved. Let's just talk about some of the things that you did, Nick or Johnny. We happen some not so nice people stole a bunch of Christmas decorations from a house in the community, and you didn't think that was quite right, and you actually had some connection with the people, and you went out and just replaced them for them. There was no recognition factor for them, but now we know it was you. But at the time, that you just want to make sure that they had a good Christmas.
Yeah, it was. First of all, Christmas is my absolute favorite time of the year. It always has been. Uh, really the Christmas spirit. To be honest with you, my wife will tell you I probably drive them a little nuts with it, but thankfully they love it too. And it just I woke up one day and I saw on social media a friend had something destroyed or taken from their yard, and um, he was an old friend from school, and I think that just kind of solidified the right thing to do was to try. He was married with two kids, two little girls as well, and or not little girls but girls, and um,
They're
I
always
just
little girls in Dad's eyes.
yeah, that's right, that's
Yeah.
right. But and so it just seemed like the right thing to do, and it felt good, and I think that's the you know if we're in the position to be able to help, I just think we should.
Yeah, because you one of your philosophies in life is if I don't do it, then who will? And
Well, yeah, for sure. We got involved with some. I was always scared. The last year I got involved with the downtown Moose Jaw group, and I'd never done anything like that before, and I was scared to put um, kind of dip my foot in the water, I guess you could say. And
I
then
think you put more of your foot in, you end up being in charge of it.
yeah, well, yeah, but I had friends on there who've done it that kind of helped me along, and just showed me. I guess I've learned a lot from some of these people on what goes into it. But I think the biggest thing is no matter what, whether you know the ins and outs of stuff like that, I think the biggest thing is that you care. And that's what I've learned with these groups we're in, is all these people really, really care about the community. And that's really nice to be around and to be a part of.
That's for sure. Your meetings must be very positive, and you say, "What can we do?" And most recently, you just had some more ideas and announcements with City Council being involved with some of the projects that you have for this year. Like doing some artwork and stuff downtown to encourage people to enjoy this community.
Yeah, there's always people bringing, ideas. And that was, like you said, the artwork was when Alex, who's in our group, he he called it, I think he's calling it the back alley, Kinsman back alley. I'm gonna mess it up out loud, but it's we're calling it the back alley program meetings, but and Kinsman's sponsoring it. um, and just doing some artwork and cleaning. It's something that'd be neat. We were trying to think of ways, whether it's things to drive around and look at, or get people driving through the downtown, especially right now with COVID, where you can't have as many things to do, I guess. So that was one thing that came up. And there's all kind of the city with the downtown patio idea. That's another one for Main Street. Like everybody's just being proactive and trying to create things to get us over what we're going through right now.
Yeah, and and of course, hockey, surprisingly for Greeks, is a big part of your life. I mean, there's always a sign at one of the restaurants about when the next game is, and also a lot of support for the team itself, Warriors, but also minor hockey. You're involved with that.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. Some of the first memories I have when I was would have been the late 70s. My dad would take myself, my brother, my cousins. We'd go to the Civic Center to watch games. And if it wasn't that they were into hockey enough already, um, in the early 80s when Chris Chelios came and played here, well, a Greek kid coming to play, that meant every Greek felt some sort of connection to him. And he'd frequent the restaurants and stuff. So we just always grew close to that. And whether the team, again, I can't stress it, represents a city when they're playing, whether they're on the road or here. They wear the city on their chest. And then for local, for minor sports, I think that's some of the most important. Hearing stories They got so many good programs now, but hearing stories when we were kids, I don't know how many guys I've talked to growing up that, were very talented, but weren't able to play because they didn't have the funds available to play. So we just try and get involved and do what we can to make sure that kind
Yeah,
of stuff
and help
never
them
happens.
help them participate. You have a cousin who played for Greece, did he not?
Yeah, actually, my cousin Peter that works for the Warriors in the marketing department. He played for the Greek national team for a few years. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
very yeah.
yeah. Well, John, I was so proud to see you get the reward because I know how much you want to do well and you want to be successful for people and you don't want any credit for this. It's like this. I'm sure this interview, it took us long enough to get this done because, well, who wants to know? But I wanted to take the chance to let people know who you are and, the involvement you have in our community and the recognition that you justify or deserved when you were selected to Citizen of the Year. So that's really a good thing. What are your plans for the future now, John? What's going on with you and the business and the community? What's happening?
Just the business is something I plan on being here and doing for um, you know hopefully a long time, as long as I'm allowed. And I for the community, I think now that we've got a taste of some, I plan on being a little more involved. I know with the downtown stuff, just being involved with that, but even other things. I know I've talked to friends of ours about maybe, I have friends that are in on the Kinsmen and that kind of thing. And I just think uh, doing as much as we can to,
Yeah.
I guess, we're pretty lucky, Lyle. I know we say it, but I hear it a lot when my mom was hospitalized a while ago in Regina, and I mentioned to the group that the downtown group that twice that I was in Regina in the hospital, I had two separate incidents where people came up to me and said, like one lady was just floored by how beautiful Moose Jaw is in our downtown and was telling me how they would come here to spend time in our downtown. They just found it so comforting and relaxing. And I really truly think we got one of the nicest little cities, you know, in Canada or Western Canada. I haven't been done as much out east, but and our downtown, any downtowns, I've always been intrigued by them when I go to centers, even in big cities. And I really love our downtown. I think we're really lucky to have what we do.
Well, that's great, John. Thank you very much. It was nice you mentioned the Kinsmen because they're, of course, were the group of the year this year,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they do a lot of, they do a lot of coincidental things to you. But
for sure.
congratulations on your recognition. And if everybody wants to stop for some food at the Mad Greek, I recommend the souvlaki, the pork souvlaki, and heroes are pretty good too.
For sure. Thanks, Lyle. I appreciate it. And thanks. I know you taught me. You didn't just teach me. You've taught about 21 of my cousins at Peacock, and probably every person in the or at every person that's gone to Peacock, I know knows who you are, and we know what you do for the city, so we appreciate it.
Well, thanks. And now people know what you do for the city too. So thanks,
Thank-
John. Congratulations. And to our audience, we look forward to see you again on Moose Shot this week.